Electric cars have been too expensive for most motorists for far too long, but that is about to change, because this is the new Citroen C3, or to be more precise, this is the new Citroen e-C3 that I have got here, and it's going to start in the UK from around about £23,000, and that is despite a 44 kilowatt hour LFP battery with a WLTP range of 199 miles. Now you are going to be able to get the C3 also with the standard petrol or mild hybrid powertrains, and they're going to start from around about £16,500 in the UK. There's a couple of trims, Plus and Max, and they are not badly equipped. You get a 10.25 inch touchscreen in every Citroen C3. It really is. It's not a cheap feeling car, this, and I think it looks absolutely brilliant, really chunky. Talking about a 4 metre long car here. It's about the same footprint as cars like the Peugeot e-208 and Vauxhall Corsa. It's about 14 centimetres higher because you've got this nice SUV-ish kind of boxy look. It's pretty roomy inside too. So here we go, look, 310 litre boot in here. There's no underfloor cable storage, that is one thing, and there's no frunk either. The aperture is a little bit small, but it's a small car. This is a city car. It's 4 metres long. I mean, that's good enough for a lightweight buggy, so I think this is still going to be really good for small families. Check out the rear seats too, because there is loads of space in the back here. Really impressed with this. Also, little design detail. These colours here, you can actually change these, so Citroen are going to offer loads of these in different colours. So there's quite neat little design details all over the place in the Citroen. This is pretty much me sat behind, you know, you could get a 6-foot adult up there, no worries, and I've got loads of space. Lots of leg room, lots of headroom, it's really good. And little phone pocket there, map pocket. This is not a car that feels really cheap, that's what I'm trying to say. Check out this little detail here. Be happy. Look at that. It's got motivational speaking built in. It's really cool. I like it so much. It's such a great looking car. And I'm very excited that it's finally going to bring electric motoring to a sort of a more affordable market. One more detail I want to show you before we go and drive it. Look at that key. It's like going back to the 1990s. It's a proper twist and turn key. And look, there's a key barrel on the side of the steering column. And look at this dash. It looks really smart, really nice textiles. It's really cool. This is a very exciting car. Now, let's go and drive it. What is not very 90s about the e-C3 is how it drives. It's really cool. It's just comfy and straightforward, and I really like that. It's not trying to be anything else. There are no drive modes, there's no sport mode, there's no fancy red dials. It's just a good, practical, common sense, affordable car. Evidence to that effect is things like proper physical aircon buttons. Great, we like that. The touchscreen is quite simple to use because there's no climate control in there and it's all very straightforward. So you've basically just got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you've got your nav, Bluetooth and audio stuff, that's it. Straightforward, easy, no problem. And this screen is standard on every Citroen C3 as well. Not only that, but there's a little speed readout just up here, which is easy to see. It doesn't matter how you sit. I don't think they're going to suffer from the Peugeot problem of having, you know, the speed readout obscured by the steering wheel. In fact, this is a very different setup, so Citroen's been very clever because obviously it needs to keep costs down on the C3 in order to keep the list price down. So what they've done, it looks like a normal readout, I have to say, but there's no screen there. What it is just a black panel, and then it's got a little mirror sort of beaming, almost projecting the speed and all that kind of stuff up onto the screen. So it looks like a normal readout, but actually it's a much cheaper technology for them to put in the car. So Citroen has thrown in its hydraulic bump stops on all the C3s. Now this is kind of a Citroen bespoke technology. It is not full hydraulic suspension. We're not talking about a car that's going to raise up on its suspension when you start it in the morning as per sort of 1990s Citroens. Rather, it's just a little hydraulic sort of cushion on top of the suspension, and it makes the comfort really good. The suspension's particularly in this sort of extremes of body lean and this kind of thing, so it's got a really nice cushy feel to it. I mean, I have to say there's a little bit of a kind of rebound and a bit noisy suspension at the back, the rear axle particularly, but only over really kind of harsh potholes. Generally, 98% of the time, this car is really comfortable. You sit a little tiny bit higher than you do in a traditional small hatchback like the Peugeot 208, and I think people will like that too. These seats, they could do with some lumbar adjustment. I tend to think that about every car that hasn't got lumbar adjustment because I've got a creaky back. But they're pretty good, and they've got really deep sort of seat squabs, these seats, so they do feel quite quite cushy and comfy. I don't think you'd mind doing long journeys in this at all. In fact, I think you'd be very happy doing long journeys in this. You've even got that decent WLTP range, 199 miles. I think real world, I have actually seen 4 miles per kilowatt hour without trying very hard in the e-C3, so I'm quite impressed with that. It's quite warm out, so it's good conditions for it. But I mean, I do think that you're going to see probably 160 miles real world range quite easily. I will come back to you with a more detailed idea of real world range when we've had a go in the UK, I have to say that. And I have no experience of cold weather running in this car, so I'll have to hold off on judgment of that. But certainly, nice mild conditions, some faster roads, and I'm still, you know, good efficiency. So I'm really impressed with that too. In fact, you know what? I'm just impressed with the car. I don't care that it's quite slow. It's 11 seconds 0 to 62. That sounds pretty terrible, doesn't it? But in practice, actually, it's fine. Actually, around town and even up to sort of national speed limits, it's just fine. I would far rather that than it were, you know, much faster and more expensive. I think this is great. Talking about that, Citroen is also going to bring in a smaller battery version of this, which is going to have a range of more like 140 miles. I don't know what pricing for that will be yet, but I mean, if they can get that down to, you know, £20,000, something like that, or close to that, well, that would be pretty amazing, wouldn't it? I think we need electric cars like this so badly. We've all been waiting for a straightforward, affordable electric car. The Dacia Spring is coming along. I think that's going to be really popular. We've also got the Volkswagen ID2 all turning up. That's going to be interesting too. So finally, we're starting to see these cars come in. And I'm even more sort of heartened by the situation because I really like this car. It's not a car that you get in and immediately think, oh God, this is really cheap, isn't it? Absolutely not. Maybe I find the little tags here that say, be cool and be happy, a little bit too sort of motivational and inspirational for my liking after a while. But, you know, I can see what Citroen's trying to do. It's just trying to make it cool and funky, isn't it? And I get that. I like this car. I like the interior. It's comfy and roomy. I like the whole concept of it. I like the fact that it's affordable. I'm going to have to wait and see what the safety credentials are. That is the one thing. So it's got all the driver aids you expect, your lane keep, autonomous emergency braking. It's good on that front, but it hasn't been crash tested by Euro NCAP at this point. So I will have to hold judgment on that until we see some results from Euro NCAP. Everything else about this car I think is really fantastic because it's just out there to be affordable, fit for purpose, transport for the masses. And blimey, do we need more of that these days?